So good evening, all of you, and welcome you all for the fourth day of our National Faculty Development Program. And we had three wonderful sessions. The first day by Dr. N.S. Bhuvaneshwari, and the second day by Dr. K.V. Radha, and the third day by Dr. Prabha Ravi. And today we are going to have a wonderful session by Dr. Alamelu Mangai on process automation. And I would like to give you a short introduction about Dr. Alamelu. So this is what is going to be our session today, and she's going to talk about the process automation. And Dr. V. Alamelu Mangai completed her BE Electronics and Instrumentation Engineering from Annamalai University, and her ME Process Control and Instrumentation Engineering also from Annamalai University, and her PhD in the area of process control is also from Annamalai University. And her career started as a teaching assistant in Kalasalingam College of Engineering and Technology, Srivilliputtur, in the year 1990. And she then joined as a lecturer in Annamalai University in 1992, and she was promoted as a professor in 2011. And she has been guiding for different people on her doctoral degrees, and she's already five of her students were awarded with the doctoral degrees, and she is currently working on guiding 3 students. And she has many papers and publications on various journals. And of course, Dr. Alamelu Mangai is also my classmate, and she is the most silent person in our class, but highly knowledgeable, and very, very glad that she started her BE from Annamalai University and completed her PG and PhD from the same university. And now she is the professor of the same Annamalai University where she studied. And it's a wonderful journey she has taken through and made the university also feel proud of such a student. And I wholeheartedly welcome Dr. V. Alamelu Mangai to take over this session. Over to you, Alamelu.
Yeah. Hello.
Yes, your audio is missing. Your video is missing.
Video on panna. So, can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can see your screen. You can proceed.
Warm good evening to one and all present here. First of all, I thank Dr. Usha, my classmate in esteemed institution, Annamalai University, for her effort and idea to come up with this webinar. See, why I am telling is that nowadays, that is from past few years, we can say the reunion is a trend now. Everywhere you can see the batchmates, schoolmates, college mates, they are joining together. They are doing many activities, that is visiting once in a year or twice in a year, sharing the information. Many activities are going on, but Usha come up with a different idea, that is connecting her classmates under one roof. I can say the education, really it is a wonderful idea. So first of all, I wish to record my appreciation here. Okay. And can you hear me?
Thank you, Alamelu. You can proceed with your presentation.
So I wish to express my gratitude to my teacher, who is Dr. MC Vaidalingam, from whom I learned the subject process control. Right? He is no more now, but even then he is living in the hearts of so many teachers and students like me. So I wish to express my gratitude here. Really, I'm happy to be a part of this webinar. So let me come to participants. My dear participants, I hope you are all well and you will enjoy the session. Even though we are all teachers, when we are on the dais, we will going to behave as a teacher and we used to control the students. We want the students to be with us always. That is, we want to track the subject, right? But when we are off the dais, we will going to behave as a students exactly, right? So what I am trying to say is, you cope up your minds and you try to participate actively, right? So let me go to the topic. Actually, I want to explain my title first. So the reason that is because many of the students, they are not aware of the branch of study, that is process control and instrumentation. The reason is, so if they are, if I can say EEE branch, it is a study of some power generation and the related issues. And if I am saying mechanical engineering, so study of automobile and the related subjects. And if computer science, we can say something like that. If the branch is process control and instrumentation, so they cannot be able to understand what it is related to. So they are not even trying to understand. So simply they are moving here and there, depends on, right? So, and even if they have some information either from their seniors or neighbors or somebody working in industry like that. So what impression they got is, this is the branch of toughest study. This is the toughest branch of study. So that is the impression they had. Okay. So actually it is not so. So let me start from the title, the technology and process automation. So let me define what is technology. So you can say immediately after seeing this slide, so we know we are all engineers, we know what is technology, then why define this technology actually to have an idea, better idea about automation. So let us see what is technology. So which is nothing but some techniques, methods, process used in production of goods or services, or such as scientific investigation. So you may have your own view about this technology. So here the things are collected and presented. So actually what my opinion about this technology is that if the technology with the right hands and if it is properly utilized, then we can say the environment will be protected and even the economy of the country will improve. So with this idea about that, I have and find out some components or equipments. So I can say these are all some of the outcomes of the technology. So with this small information, we shall proceed to understand what is process automation. That is the next part of the title of this presentation. So what is process automation? It is defined as technology. So what we have seen in the previous slide. Automation is defined as the technology by which a process or procedure is accomplished without human assistance. So the definition is very clear, but even then, if you are very clear with what is process or procedure, then you will come up with a clear definition, clear idea of process control, process automation. So what is process? It could be any electronic circuit that is designed to do some specific job, or it could be a water heater we are using in our house. It could be a refrigerator we are using in our house to maintain the temperature in a room, or it could be a home that is automated, or office that is automated. So all these things I can call as a process. Process may be a water heater. So what water heater is doing? So it is heating a water for a given temperature. So this is called process. Then now we know what is a process. To understand again the definition. So I am actually running the process here, industrial process. Then what is the difference? So what I have told you as an example, that is a refrigerator or air conditioner. So is it not a process? So then what is it not an industrial process? So what about the air conditioner process? To do small job. What is its job? So it will going to maintain room temperature. So that is only the job of air conditioner. Right? That in the industrial process that is meant for this domestic applications. So to make you to understand very clearly what is industrial process, I'll proceed to the example. That is nothing but thermal power plant. So thermal power plant is very familiar process. So now what is happening in a power plant? So the electrical power is generated here using the thermal energy as a source. So I am saying this is an example for industrial process, and with this example, let us try to understand what is process automation. Right. So let me brief what is happening in a thermal power plant. So we have a boiler. What is the objective here is we need to make a turbine to move so that the device, electrical device, alternator that is coupled with the turbine, that will going to rotate, will going to generate electrical energy. So this is very fundamental concept we all know. So how to make a turbine to rotate? The turbine will going to get rotated by steam as the source or power. So from where we are generating steam, so for that the boiler is used. So how we are generating? We have a fuel, one of the fossil fuel called coal. So we have to get the coal from where it is available, maybe some few kilometers away from the actual power plant. So we have to bring it, and we have to supply that as input to a combustion chamber of a boiler where combustion is taking place. So because of this water that is in a boiler, that will going to generate a steam. So that steam is taken as input to your turbine. So this is what happening. So you see other blocks available, cooling tower is there, feed water pump is there, condenser is there. So what we're going to do with all these components, condenser will going to receive the exhausted steam from turbine. So and then that is condensed by warm water, and the exhausted steam is now converted into water now. So that is applied as input to a boiler. So this is one cycle of steam and water that is applied to a boiler, and steam is taken from the boiler. So the steam is exhausted from the turbine, that is applied as input to a condenser. So what condenser is doing? It is converting a steam into water. how it is doing. So through a warm water, through a cold water, that is from a cooling tower. So the cold water is taking the heat that is available with the exhausted steam, and it is again applied to a cooling tower where we have water storage. Okay. Do you have any other input to a boiler, that is water input, so that we can able to generate steam? Yes. So we have feed water pump, water storage is there. So water is put to a boiler. Okay, now the process is very clear. Because of combustion, we have combustion gases also. So the combustion gases generated because of combustion get exhausted through the stack. The stack is the tube-like structure that is positioned vertically. It will going to act as a chimney. So the combustion, that is greenhouse gases, otherwise called exhausted through different economizer, superheater, evaporator, and all. The temperature is taken from the combustion gases, and finally it gets exhausted atmosphere. So this is actually the process taking place in the plant. So what is automation? So interconnectedly into automatically giving input popular, so it is connected with, it will automatically get the steam. So this is so I can say the thermal plant is automated now. It's not automatic now. Why? So many areas we need to maintain. The very first
So excuse me, participants, there is an internet connectivity problem with Dr. Alamelu Mangai. I think she'll be back. Yes, Mangai, you can start. Unmute your audio. Yes, please share the screen. Some instability in your internet, you can share your screen.
Yeah. Is it okay now?
Yes, yes, fine.
So coming to the boiler, so I have a number of variables to monitor. That is water level in a boiler, the water flow into the boiler, steam pressure in a boiler, so steam flow rate from the boiler. So these are all the variables that I need to maintain. So it should be, I have to monitor these variables. So after this boiler, turbine. So turbine will go rotate at constant speed. That is, the speed is an important factor will going to generate your critical energy. I want this much of energy from this power plant. For that, I have a speed of turbine, the specific value. So to have that speed, I see proper pressure and flow rate. So all these things are there. Unstable computer. So can you able to see my?
Yes, yes, we are able to see
my screen.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So the initial stage, the fuel stage, the combustion chamber. So I need to maintain a variable. Coming to the boiler, I have some of the variables. Turbine, I have some of the variables. Again, the condenser, cooling water tower. So everywhere I have some variables that has to be monitored. Okay. So if not, what will happen? So if I'm not worry about the level of water, level of liquid that is present in a boiler, the level may be overflow or the boiler may get empty. So both the conditions are undesirable conditions. It may results in damage. The boiler itself getting damaged, and also it will get damage the components that is along with the boiler. So it is undesirable condition. So like that, each and every variable present in a power plant is having its own effect. So I need to monitor all the variables. What I can do, so I can put an operator or a technician to maintain the air fuel ratio, to maintain the liquid level in a boiler, to maintain the steam pressure and flow rate in a boiler, to maintain the turbine speed. So I can I just depends on operator or technician. Okay. So what may be the problem with the operator or so if an operator is not concentrating what is happening in a liquid level of boiler, so he used to verify in constant frequency, either 5 hours once or 2 hours once. It depends on the size, how much the output is taken from the boiler. It depends on number of factors. So at frequency, at constant time, he will going to verify whether the water level is okay or not. So if he missed to do that, you imagine what will happen. And so if he is trying to do something, the adjustment is proper. So if not, what will happen? Totally everything will going to affect the efficiency of the power plant, right? So I have a thermal power plant. I have number of variables to monitor. If I'm not monitoring the things, what will happen? The disadvantages. So these are all the points here we are seeing with this example. Now what is process automation? I have an operator or a technician everywhere in all the stages of the power plant. Okay, so we have some drawbacks because of these operators. So what we can do? Proceed to automation. So let me explain what is apart from this thermal power plant. Next slide, please. So this is actually a boiler process in a power plant. Okay, so part of a thermal power plant. Okay, what is happening here? I have air fuel inlet, combustion chamber, and water inlet, steam outlet. So this is concerned with the boiler process. So other components you can attach, right? So now I am considering only the boiler process. So what are all the variables here? So we need to control the combustion rate, air fuel ratio, the steam outlet, the pressure and flow rate of steam, the flow rate of water inlet. So all these variables I need to maintain constant. So how to proceed with automating this? Manual operation, we know whatever there is a change, so you can adjust, and if the water level is raised or the steam pressure is raised, you can reduce the combustion rate, or inlet water can be adjusted so that we can have a constant value. So that is the manual operation. So what to do with automation? Let me take one variable among all the variables present here. So in boiler process alone, we have number of variables. So I'm considering only one variable in a boiler process, and I'll explain how it is get automated. So a boiler water inlet. Now I'll going to maintain the level of liquid in a boiler constant. So how to do that? I can go for using a technology available. and going to do something so that without human assistance, the level will get maintained. So for that, first, what manually I can do to adjust it. So I told you by adjusting the feed water input. Okay, so I also explained what are all the problems we are getting when we are manually adjusting. That is the first question, how much I can adjust. So when you are changing the inlet, feed water inlet, so it may go beyond our crossing the level. So again, it will going to take some time to come back. So the trial and error procedure, right? So this is actually the manual operation. So how it is implemented to automate this process. So now I am sensing the value of the level, liquid level in a boiler using some liquid level sensor, right? Because what is the current value? So if I know that, then only I can go for action, whether I need to increase the inlet feed water flow or I need to decrease. So I am going for sensing the water level. So I want a sensor. So some level sensor is there. So I am sensing the level. For example, the level sensor is a capacitance level sensor. So what it will do? So it will going to give me output for change in level, a capacitance. So capacitance, change in capacitance is the output from the capacitor level sensor, right? So when there is a change in level, it will give me change in capacitance. So what I can do with change in capacitance? So using some bridge circuit and all, I will convert the change in capacitance into either voltage or current. So after converting the physical signal, that is change in level, into current or voltage, what I'm going to do, I'll again convert that into a standard range. That is current may be 4 to 20 milliampere, or if it is voltage, it may be 1 to 5 volts or 0 to 5 volts or 0 to 10 volts. It depends on the application. So what the unit here shown as drum level is doing, so it is sensing the level and converting that into electrical signal, converting again that into a signal with standard range. So what is inside this single element module? So the module, it is nothing but a controller. So I can say it is a heart of process automation. So I'll tell you later what is inside this single element module. That is, what is a controller, I'll explain later. So what it will going to do now? So it receives this signal, that is current value of the level from the boiler, and it compares with the reference value. That is, reference value is nothing but the value at which we want to maintain the liquid level in a boiler. So for example, I want to maintain a level at 20 meters. The current value is 25 meters. I'm getting from a level sensor. Level sensor along with the signal conditioning and range conversion circuit we used to call as level transmitter. So the transmitter is giving me change in level in terms of current, and I'm receiving the signal and comparing it with the reference value. So let us assume the current value I'm receiving is 25 meter. Actual the reference value is 20 meter. That is, I want to maintain 20 meter level in a boiler, but actually it is 25. So I am finding out the difference, and the difference is applied as input to your controller. So here the single element module consists of a controller. So what the controller is doing, based on the algorithm available, it will going to calculate something. It will give me some signal. So what I can do with that signal? So the signal is used to operate a control valve, that is shown here as feed water valve. The valve is actually pneumatic control valve that is operated using the pressure signal as input. So I need to convert my signal into a pressure signal and then apply that signal to a valve. So what valve will, it will going to either open or close further from the current position, so that the feed water into the boiler will get either increased or decreased. So in this example, we have what assumed is current value is 25 meter. So I need to reduce the valve. So the signal I am getting from the controller should close the valve further so that the water into the boiler will get reduced. So the level is maintained. So this is what happening for process automation. So if I want to control a single variable in thermal power plant, so this is the implementation procedure. The technology I am using is this. So I want a level transmitter, a controller, a final control element, so connecting all these things. So without human assistance, I don't want a technician or a operator to maintain the liquid level. So it will get automatically maintained. So this is for one variable. So we have number of variables in one stage of the power plant. In a boiler itself, we have number of variables. So I have to go for number of control loops for each and every variable. And you go to the power plant now. So you have different stages. So each and every stage having number of variables now. So all the variables to be maintained constant to have a good efficiency from a thermal power plant. So if I am implementing this, I can say thermal power plant is completely automated. So this is what we are calling process automation, right? I think I'm clear to the audience what is process automation. With this introduction, I am going for the next process. This process is called greenhouse process. What we are doing here is, it is actually a structure in which we have crops. The crops are grown with conditional environment. So this is called greenhouse process, right? It is a structure in which whatever crop we want, we can grow under conditional environment. So what is the meaning for this? So the specific crop, maybe an ornamental crop or a farming crop, whatever it is. So what are all the conditions, the environmental conditions required to grow that crop? So that can be maintained inside this greenhouse. So that is the objective here. So this is one of the farming application, or I can say agriculture application. So what is the meaning here? The inputs and outputs shown. So in this greenhouse process, I can maintain inside temperature constant, humidity constant, and CO2 concentration constant. So whatever value it is required by the specific crop, I can maintain these parameters constant. So these are all the output variables in a process. So how these variables are maintained constant? By adjusting heater, ventilator, sprayer, or CO2 injection. So if the CO2 concentration is less, we can inject. If the temperature is reduced, we can switch on the heater. So if we want ventilation, we can go for a ventilation, right? So these are all the inputs, and we can maintain the variables as output. So the disturbance variables. So we have number of variables shown here as a disturbance variable. What it means is that, so these variables available in our atmosphere may disturb the crop that is inside the greenhouse. Right? So the disturbance variables are the solar radiation, outside temperature, outside humidity, wind speed, CO2 concentration, etc. More number of variables available. So depends on the atmosphere, you can have which is influencing more the given crop, right? So this is a simple process. So what is the meaning of automation here again? So we can go for a technology like what I have shown for a liquid level in a boiler process. The same thing can be implemented here also. So if we want to maintain the temperature, humidity, and CO2 concentration inside the greenhouse constant, so for each variable, I can go for a control loop. So this is what the greenhouse process is automated. So what is the advantage we are getting by automating this greenhouse process? The points are listed here: increased yield, reduced water requirement, improved quality of the product, reduced fertilizer, reduced crop failure, minimum utilization of land, and reduced human power. Let me proceed to the next process. I want to show a variety, because thermal power plant, you are all familiar with one of the industrial process. So other than that, what are all the processes we have? So to understand automation process somewhat better, the process next is the quadruple tank process. So here we have 4 tanks. The objective here is to control the liquid level in tank 1 and tank 2 constant. So what is the purpose for this plant or a process? So this process is actually developed to study the multivariable control concepts. So that is actually the purpose for this process. So we are not going for using this in industry. So in industry, we have number of tanks available. In chemical industries, we have reactors. So all are tanks only. But here, this specific structure, that is 4 tanks, that is arranged in this way, is meant for studying the multivariable control concepts. So what is the significance of this process? This is actually one of the benchmark process, I can say. So what is the importance or significance, or what is the control concept we are getting from this process? Before that, what is a multivariable process? When the variable to be controlled in a process is 1, we used to call the process as a single input, single output process. When the variable to be controlled is more than 1, then we can call a process as a multivariable process. So it depends on the variables that we are going to control. A process may be a single input, single output process, or multi-input, multi-output process. Okay, so this is one of the multivariable process. We have 2 different tanks. So level in 2 tanks I am going to control. So 2 variables, so multivariable process. So how to do the control, or what is a control concept we are studying here? You see, you have a pump in a diagram. So we have a water reservoir. So pump is used to take a water from reservoir, and it is supplied to tank 1 and then to tank 4. So you see the diagram, the water is supplied to tank 1 and tank 4. The valve here shown is actually a 3-way valve, 2 outputs, 1 input, right? In the same way, we have one more pump here. So again, it will going to pump the water, and the water flow rate that is applied as input to tank 2 and tank 3. Okay. So the position of the valve is important here. So if I place the valve such that the water enter into the bottom tanks are higher than the water enter into the top tanks, then I will get a model of a process as a minimum phase process. That is, there won't be any RHP 0%. So I'll come to that later after explaining this. So if I keep the valve position such a way that if the water enter into the bottom tanks is higher than the water enter into the top tank, so I will get one model, so which is called minimum phase model. If I am keeping the valve position in such a way that the flow into the top tanks are higher than the flow into the bottom tank, it means that I am getting RHP 0 that is present in a process. So I can say the process is a non-minimum phase process. So fine, before that I'll explain what is RHP 0. Whatever is a process to work with and to analyze, we used to go for a model of a process, right? Model of a process is nothing but mathematical representation of a process, which is going to give you the relationship between the input and output. So model of a process is the mathematical representation. We used to say mathematical model, the mathematical representation, which is going to give you the relationship between the input and output variable. Okay. So in a model of a process, we have variety, number of forms available. So one fundamental form is transfer function form. So we used to represent that as numerator by denominator in Laplace domain, right? Let the transfer function is represented as g of s, means g of s is given by y of s by x of s, where y is the output and x is the input. So this is one of the model available in which you have numerator and denominator. The numerator we used to say zeros of a process. The denominator we used to say poles of a process. So you don't just afraid of what is the numerator denominator model and all. I'll try to explain what is the significance of this process, right? The numerator representing the poles present, zeros present in a process, the denominator representing the poles present in a process. Okay. So if the zeros in a process, that is numerator, is in right side of the S-plane. So what is S-plane? So it is a plane with y-axis is j omega, x-axis the real part sigma, right? So if the zero present in a system, so that is placed in the right side of the S-plane, so it is very difficult to control a process. So it will create a problem in control concept. Sound in the Usha, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. So if RHP0 is present in a process, it is very difficult to control a process. Okay. So that is the significance of this quadruple tank process. So we have number of processes available, but no process will directly give you the, that is directly connect the mathematical concept and the physical variation in a process. So that is the speciality for this quadruple tank process. That is the, if you change the position of the three-way valve I have shown here, right? You can have a RHP0 that may be moved from left to right. So that is the very important point. So because of this only we are using this quadruple tank process to study the control concepts, multivariable control concepts, right? So you can have a minimum phase process, you can have a non-minimum phase process. If you want, you can place RHP0 over imaginary axis, so you can get a model also. So whenever RHP0 is going away from the origin, so we know it is very difficult to control. So you can place your RHP0 at different location by moving the valve position. You can study the control concepts, how it is, whether how much I can able to control, how much difficult it is to control a process when the RHP0 is here. So moving towards right, like that. So this is the importance for this quadruple tank process. And other multivariable concept here is when I am trying to control tank 1, the liquid level in tank 1. So I'll adjust the speed of the pump here. So if pump speed is reduced or increased, so it depends on that, I'll get the flow rate that is either increased or decreased. So the water is entered into tank 1 as well as into tank 4. So now what will happen if there is a change in inlet in tank 4, so that will going to affect tank 2 also, because we have outlet in tank 4 that enter into input to tank 2, right? So what I'm trying to say is, when I'm trying to control tank 1, tank 2 level also will get affected because of this way of arrangement. The water is going to tank 4 also, and the outlet we have to tank 2. So both the tanks will get affected. The same thing for tank 2 also. If I am trying to control tank 2, tank 1 also will get affected. So this concept we used to call as a interaction. So I'm trying to control one variable, the other variable also will get affected. So the concept is called interaction. So these are all the concepts we are studying using this quadruple tank process. So let me go to the next part, that is industrial revolution. What is happening in process industry from the earlier day to till now. I want to say something about evolution of the terminology through industrial revolution. You see in the industry 1.0, maybe in 17th century, mechanization or steam power. So what is it? So actually in first industrial revolution, so we have the equipments, that is mechanical devices, that is operated using steam as input source. So steam operated devices we have, that is considered as first industrial revolution. Then we are moving to industrial revolution 2, that is industry 2.0. So here the advancement is the electrically operated devices. After discovering the electrical energy, the electrically operated devices will came up. The assembly line production, that is one customer will do 1 or 2 operation only. So the product will go in line. So we used to call that as assembly line. That is the development during 18th century. We used to call this as industry 2.0. That is second revolution. But whether we are using the devices now, currently, industry 1 is obsolete, industry 2 we use electrically operated devices. Coming to industry 3, that is 3.0, third industrial revolution. So this is very, very important. That is developed in late 18th century and beginning of 19th century. So the development here is the electronic circuits, electronic field and integrated circuits, processor, computers came up. So all these things will came up during this period only. This is very important revolution. So automation started from here. So till 2.0, we cannot proceed to completely automated system. So maybe it is partial. So after industry 3.0, that is after third industrial revolution, we started automating a process. We are trying to automate completely. So as this is very important for process automation, I try to say something about industry 3.0. So what is the technology we have during this industry 3.0 for our process industry. The benefits we know, that is, I don't want to explain the benefit of this. Whenever I explained in thermal power plant itself, whenever the processes get automated, we have speed, accuracy, time, number of parameters. So coming to SCADA, it is popularly called, this is one of the technology that is came up during this industrial 3.0. So what is the SCADA? That is supervisory control and data acquisition system. What we're going to do with the supervisory control? I can simply say, except the control action, that what we have seen in boiler drum level control. So everything can be done by this supervisory control. For example, so as its name implies, it will going to supervise. So what it will going to supervise? It collects the data from the field, from a sensor and all the equipments available in the field, and then it can able to produce a report based on the data collected. It can able to give a display. It can able to give a trending of the variable. we can write a script to mimic a given process, and we can generate an alarm under emergency conditions. So what are all we want to do with the process except the control action. So we can proceed with using this SCADA software. This is one of the software, the technology available. So one of the important technology that influences our process industries. Then coming to the distributed control system, we used to call that as DCS. The distributed control system, you go to the thermal power plant, we have number of variables available. So you collect all the variables, you automate a process, you collect all the variables and form a control room. So in a control room, what we can do is, so we can have a control of all the variables in a control room. So that is called DCS. That is for all the variables available, I can develop a control loop. So all the control loops will going to work independently, but I can able to have a control from the control room, right? This is what distributed control system is doing. Coming to the next technology, programmable logic controller. This is again another very important technology for our process industry. The very good example, that is where it is properly and effectively utilized, I can say robotic systems. So we started seeing the robots now, they are moving automatically. So that is actually the embedded system. Using PLC, we can able to program and load it, and whatever we want, we can do it. So actually the programmable logic controller during its early days, it is evolved with hardwired relays. That is whatever we want to do now through whatever we are doing now through programs is done by hardwired relay circuits in early days. So after, because of this development in technology, that is development in the field of electronics, integrated circuits, and in the field of computers, we can able to achieve that is the hardwired relay circuit is replaced by the software now. Right? What we are doing with the PLC here, so we have a input module, a processor, and output module. So what it will going to do, it collect the data input from the field devices and condition the signal from the field devices that is compatible for processor, and then the processor is running a program what we loaded here, loaded in the processor, and the output is supplied from a processor to output module. Then what the module is doing, so it will convert the signal that is from the processor into which is compatible to operate devices available. Maybe if I want to switch on the motor using PLC, so I need to go for a relay. So my signal should operate a relay so that the connected components will get activated, so the switch may get on. So this is what PLC is doing. So this is also one of the very important technology influencing our process industry. Then coming to Industry 4.0, so we are currently started implementing the fourth industrial revolution. So 4.0 is actually characterized by the application of information and communication technologies. And what it is doing actually, I can simply say the networking. And another concept, I have cloud for storing my data. So even now also we have the concept that is a PLC I'm using now in my industry. SCADA is SCADA concept is used, DCS concept is used. So all the technologies available even now in industrial after the fourth industrial revolution, but I can use all the concepts comfortably because of this industry 4.0. So how I can able to connect all the systems available, that is networking is possible. And I can have a cloud to store my data. So data storage is very big problem to utilize the facilities available effectively. So now what is the problem is taken care because of this industry 4.0. So the connected computers or machines in a plant, they may be, they have the interconnection, they can able to talk among themselves through a software or algorithms implemented in a computer, in a machine, whatever it is, right? So the production process will get automated. The next concept is the cyber physical production system. So the physical process and the software, they are interconnected, and the system, the units, it is in part, they are again connected through a network, right? So what is the, so the factories become smart now. So what is the advantage we are getting in production system? So the production system components, people, they can able to communicate via the network. Now it is possible to have a customized product, I can say. So if I want to have something that is unsized, so that is possible now. I can order, I can get because of this cyber physical production system. So because of this networking, I can have optimized environment in a process industry. So whatever is demand, planning is possible, scheduling is possible. So it is not necessary for me to operate all the units available in a process. So I can utilize the process or plant available efficiently. So the plants will become energy efficient, time efficient, cost efficient. So all the parameters I can able to optimize because of this industry 4.0. So next come to the control algorithm. So what is the development in control algorithm because of this industrial revolution? So now I want to say what is inside that block, the controller. I told you it is part of the process automation or the control loop. You just imagine you remember the diagram, boiler drum level control. So here I'm taking the feedback signal from level transmitter and comparing that with the reference value, and the difference is applied as input to a controller, and based on the controller's decision, the valve is getting operated. Now come to this diagram. Here the plant or process shown here, maybe a boiler drum level process. I am getting the current level and I am feeding it back and comparing with the set point or reference value. R of t is a reference value. And the difference is, we used to say that as error. Error is applied as input to a controller. Here the controller is PID controller, that is proportional integral derivative controller. So this is one of the fundamental controller that is evolved during the 18th century itself after the automation. So what is this PID controller? So the terms are given here. The proportional controller, as its name implies, will going to give you the output based on the input multiplied by gain. Whatever is the input, that is multiplied by gain will be the output. The integral action, I action, so it will going to integrate the error and multiply that with the gain and will be the output. The D action, it will going to differentiate the error and multiply that with the gain, and that will be the output. So if you add all the three outputs, will constitute the PID controller. So this is what inside the block single module element. So this is going to give you some output. So that output is utilized to operate the pneumatic control valve. So to say here is controller we are very clear with. So what is its revolution? So in the beginning stages, this PID algorithm is realized using pneumatic components. So the pneumatic equipments that is operated using pressure signal as input are used. For example, the pneumatic amplifier, pneumatic relay, bellow element, diaphragm element, flapper nozzle system. So these are all some of the pneumatic elements. So using these pneumatic elements, this PID structure is realized. The amplifier is constructed using pneumatic elements, integrator, differentiator, combining all the three. So pneumatic PID controller. Then after the evolution of this electronics, development in the field of electronics, the same PID controller, the algorithm is same, that is realized using electronic components. So for example, we are all know the operational amplifier. So using the operational amplifier, the amplifier circuit is constructed, the integrator circuit is constructed, and differential circuit is constructed. Again, all the three are combined together, constitute PID algorithm. So realization using pneumatic equipment, realization using electronic components, and then now it is in the form of algorithm. Now we have a computer. So whatever software we are using, we can write the algorithm of this PID in equation form. So it comes in digital form now. So you can have both analog algorithm as well as digital algorithm. So it is in software now. So that is the evolution of PID controller. So the basic controllers, on-off and PID controller. On-off controller we are all familiar with. In all the domestic applications in olden days, the on-off controller is used. So nowadays they have started using PID controller also. So that is on-off controller means the relay is main component. So if you want to switch on or switch off something, you can energize or de-energize a relay, and you can connect the components whatever you want to activate along with the normally open and normally closed terminals of a relay. This is the concept of on-off controller. Then coming to the advanced controllers. So we have some of the controllers, that is model predictive controller, adaptive controller, and intelligent controllers. Model predictive controller, as its name implies, it will going to predict the controller output by seeing the trend of a process variable. So what is a process variable? Where it is now. So from the past history, what should be the control action? So control move is predicted based on the process output. So it is completely based on the data. Then coming to the adaptive controller. So is there any disturbance in connection? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you can continue.
Continuously பேசும்போது ஒன்னும் problem இல்ல. ஷார்ட்டா பேசுறதா இருக்கு.
Okay. So model predictive controller is it requires data. Then coming to the adaptive controller. So what is the meaning for adaptation here? When there is a change in process parameters, the controller should have to adjust by itself. That is, it has to adapt to the changes in a process parameters. It's called adaptive controller. So it means that what it has to do, it has to monitor continuously whether there is a change in process parameters or not. The intelligent controllers, the first controller, fuzzy controller, neural controller, unstable computer. So the neural network is very well explained by Dr. Bhuvaneshwari. So the concept is utilized here for control action. Control action is same what we have seen in PID controller. So it receives the input as error and it will going to take some decision, what action that should be implemented, right? So again, coming to the neural networks, we need a data, right? What I want to say is we need a data. That is, when we are going on increasing the data, you will get the accuracy. A set of data to train the network, to act as a controller, and to test the network. Again, it is data-based controller. So all the advanced controllers available requires a data. That is, if I can able to handle the data better, then it is easy for me to implement this advanced controllers. So that is possible because of this industrial revolution, what we are now, that is industry 4.0. So we can able to handle the data comfortably. So the advanced controllers, now only it is started enter into the industries. Now I am in the end of the session, a sustainable world. So the technology, using the technology, I can able to implement the advanced control concepts available to automate a process. So what is its effect? So I can able to optimize the parameters available in a process, in an industrial process. So again, I can have energy efficient plant. So again, what is its effect or output? I can have sustainable or green environment. Let me conclude. Development of technology is a boon for process industries with respect to factors like cost, accuracy, speed, time, and energy, as we can able to optimize these factors because of the technology. It is also good to know that our environment is also getting benefited by the technological advancement, as many polluting factors such as emission level are reduced due to these advancements. Process automation is an integral part of technology, and if the technology is handled in such a way that it doesn't bother the environment, it could pave the way for a more sustainable future. So thank you, audience, for your patience listening. I hope that something you got.
Thank you, Dr. Alamelu. That was a mind-blowing presentation. It was really very, very nice. And thank you so much for a lot of information you have given, and in a very, very clear format. You can stop sharing the screen, and let me see if any chat has come. Yes, audience, you can ask your questions. Yes, Prabhakar.
Oh, thank you, Alamelu. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, thank you, Alamelu. It was a really an awesome presentation. It was after a very long time I'm getting into this field, as you know, probably. And ரொம்ப நல்லா இருந்தது. I mean, I was able to grasp the basics, and was really an eye opener for me, actually. So how it has been used today in the industry was very clearly articulated. ரொம்ப thanks.
Thank you,
BTech project was on PLC, Alamelu, and my project guide was Lincoln, sir.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So PLC only we did. My favorite subject also control systems and the program logic control. And one of your student is watching your program now. I don't know whether you remember your student, Mr. Balaji, SR Balaji, is now working with Panimalar. Balaji, can you just turn on your mic and talk to your teacher? SR Balaji. Maybe he's scared of you.
I am student friendly teacher, yeah.
நான் இருக்கேன் மேடம், நான் இருக்கேன்.
பேசு.
Balaji.
நான் அலமேலு மங்கலம் மேம், நான் உங்களோட ஸ்டூடெண்ட் மேம். 2004 பாஸ் அவுட்.
2004 passed out. Okay, very nice to see
Yes,
you.
ma'am.
How are you?
Turn on your video, Balaji. Let her see you. Yes, yes. He is now working with Panimalar Engineering College. He worked as my staff in Puttur, Siddharth Engineering College. We all worked together. I was his educator. Yes. And
Balaji?
மேம் நீங்க எனக்கு எல்ஐசி எடுத்திருக்கீங்க நான் படிக்கும்போது.
படிக்கும்போது
LIC.
LIC, okay.
LIC.
Okay, linear integrated circuit.
எஸ் மேம். அப்புறம் லேப்ல இருந்திருக்கீங்க.
Okay.
லேப்ல ஏதோ எலக்ட்ரான் டிவைசஸ் லேப்ல ஏதோ ஒரு லேப் வந்திருக்கீங்க.
Okay,
மேடம் அடிக்கடி சொல்லுவாங்க மேடம். மேம் கிட்ட அடிக்கடி பேசுவேன். நான் உஷாஸ்வரம் மேம் கூட சொல்லுவாங்க. உங்ககிட்ட கான்டாக்ட்ல இருக்கேன் அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. தேங்க்யூ மேம். உங்க பிரசன்டேஷன் ரொம்ப ஆல்மோஸ்ட் 10-15 years 16 years அப்புறம் I'm seeing you.
You are hearing my voice. Okay.
Alamelu, actually, we are also hearing your voice only now. When we studied, I don't know, this 1 hour presentation also we could not have heard for all this 4 years when we studied. You are the most quietest.
Yeah, it's my inherent nature.
I'm really amazed. I'm surprised to see the boldness and the way you're presenting yourself. Amazing, really. And the presentation slides were awesome. Really, very neatly presented, and you had that flow going on. The speed, everything was perfect. Awesome. Students are really lucky to have a professor like this. You can explain them very nicely with a logic, with an example, with an analogy. Very structured way of explaining things. Wonderful, wonderful, mind blowing.
Thank you, Usha.
Alamelu, super, Alamelu.
Bona.
பிரபாகர் சொன்ன மாதிரி பேசிக்ல இருந்து கொண்டு வந்து அட்வான்ஸ்ட் கண்ட்ரோலர்ஸ் வரைக்கும் சூப்பரா இருந்தது பிரசன்டேஷன்.
ஓகே, थैंक यू.
அப்புறம் உஷா சொன்ன மாதிரி இவ்வளவு நேரம் பேசுறதை நம்ம படிச்சு 4 yearsல கூட இல்ல, இன்னைக்கு தான் நானும் பார்த்திருக்கேன். உஷா said correctly.
In that way, today is a record breaking session.
Correct.
Thank you, Prabha. Thank you, Prabha.
It's a big tsunami inside Alamelu Mangai. Today she's really unbelievable. Alamelu Mangai. I never expected. It was very powerful, very, very nice. And somebody has mentioned also here, today's session was very nice. And you presented for about the industry, which has adopted the technology like PE and PLC. They have really appreciated. Wonderful presentation. Francis has told wonderful presentation. Orbit EduTech. A lot of people have told. And somebody has asked, how can that artificial intelligence will work in automation?
Artificial intelligence.
Automation itself is artificial
intelligence.
Correct.
But actually now the booming field is in manufacturing process. If I am ordering any one of the product in Amazon, for example, so the data is collected and the related information, that is the product information, will be automatically displayed for me. So these things are because of this artificial intelligence. So coming to automation, I can say the controller again. The controller is heart of automation. So we can go for this controller in any way, that is model as well as the controller, a neuro model along with the controller, whatever it is. But the idea is we have to proceed to design a controller using this concept so that it is used in automation.
Uma, can you please turn on your mic and talk to Alamelu Mangai? Uma.
Who is there?
Yeah. Ji Uma, please turn on your mic.
Am I audible, Usha?
Yes.
Hey, Uma.
Alam
Uma, audio இன்னைக்கு தான் கேக்குறேன்.
Super.
சொல்லுங்க உமா.
Excellent presentation, Alams.
உமா வீடியோவே ஆன் பண்ணுமா?
வீடியோ இல்ல, நான் வீட்டுக்கு வந்துட்டு போனா.
உமா சொல்றது வந்து வசிஷ்டர் வாயால் பிரம்மரிஷி.
ஐயோ அப்படிலாம் இல்ல. இல்ல அலம்ஸ் பேசின 4 வருஷம் காலேஜ்ல பேசினதை விட இப்ப நிறைய பேசிருக்காங்க
எல்லாரும் சேம் கமெண்ட்.
பட் தி டிவினிட்டி அலமேல நான் பெருமைக்காக சொல்லல, அவங்க குரல்ல ஒரு அமைதி, ஒரு சாந்தம் இருக்கு. அது நம்மளாம் வேகமா பேசுறோம், பட் ஷி ஹாஸ் தட், அந்த பவர் ஒன்னு இருக்கு அவங்கள்ட்ட. Not a leave alone the technical, normal conversationலயே she is very calm, composed, and சொல்ல வந்தது ரொம்ப அழகா சொல்றாங்க. Hats off to Alams.
Yes.
Thank you, Uma.
Thank you.
ஏன்னா நம்ம ட்ரை பண்ணாலும் அது வர மாட்டேங்குது. ஸ்லோவா பேச ஆரம்பிக்கிறோம், அப்புறம் ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்கா இது ஸ்பீட் ஜாஸ்தி ஆயிருது. அதனால இது வந்து இவளோட இன்ஹெரண்ட் கேரக்டர்.
Really admire you, Alamelu Mangai. Really admire you. And we need to learn that patience, calmness, at least at this age.
Underline at least in this age.
She was having right from 18-17 she was having. She was so matured and very calm even those days. So amazing.
எல்லா கிளாஸ் அட்டெண்டன்ஸ் கொடுத்துருவாங்க பாருங்க. அலமேலு மங்கை அப்படின்னு கூப்பிட்டாலே டக்குன்னு கொடுத்துருவாங்க பாருங்க. அதுல
No, the other side is also there. I cannot able to talk like you know. So
there should be some listeners.
எல்லாரும் நீந்த தண்ணில தள்ளி விட்டா நீந்திடுவோம், அவ்வளவுதான். வேற ஒண்ணும் இல்ல. It's only about survival. Not that we have learned something and we are into the process.
True, Ma. When you have some situation where you have to do, you will do it.
Yes.
And also we need the listeners like Alamelu Mangai, only then we people.
Yes.
So Prabhakar, I really appreciate you for coming for all the sessions and encouraging us. Really, thank you.
I didn't do anything. Neenga vera.
Hey, you are.
I mean, it's a fantastic to hear back from your experience.
Our class rep Prabhakar is as usual the class rep here.
You are still taking over the role, representing all the boys.
Yes.
It was really. It's a pleasure to listen to all of the achieved women of my class. It's again, this is not about our class here because there's a lot more audience here. So, it was really good. I mean, so I gained a lot. That is, it's not a one-way street. It's both ways. So.
Even Arunmari, he was there in your session and he conveyed his appreciations for your presentation. He had to leave for some other meeting, so he just before you finished, he logged off. But he was admiring the Industry 4 concepts which you were mentioning. So it's nice.
Thank you, Usha.
Very, very nice session. Audience, you have any questions? You can please post it here. Uma, thank you so much. After coming back from college, you had time to join. Deepa was there initially and she had to leave, so she told me and she left. And everybody is very, very happy and surprised with your wonderful presentation. It was really, really God-blessing presentation.
Thank you, Usha.
I would like to thank your son for supporting you. And all through with you. So that's wonderful.
Prabha kuda irukka apdi illama?
Yeah. Prabha.
Yeah.
I'm there. Okay, I want to ask Alamelu one small question, Alamelu.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah.
Alamelu, how do you think this process control and automation, they say that it can help in drug delivery system?
Drug delivery system.
Anesthetic drug delivery, automatic. See, like they look into in terms of what is that, insulin delivery, which is automatic, where automatic, there's a control based thing.
Yeah.
So
Prabha, that is my PhD work. My PhD
question goes to Usha, not Alamelu.
my work is, I'll tell you very little about it. That is automated disease detection and drug delivery.
Okay.
Using biosensors, where I use the PID controllers also. See, I used a lot of disciplines. I need to know about the mechanical engineering. I need to know about electrical, so many medical. In fact, I need to talk to doctors. So that was a very, very big PhD work. I was the only speaker invited to China, which was a medical conference. I was the only engineer and also only Indian, where I have done my PhD work on developing a biosensor which can be implanted into your body, where the specific identification what I have done is for prostate cancer and ovarian cancer.
Okay.
So that they wanted to know how, because they are all from the medical team, where they wanted they know how to detect a disease, but they need a device to detect a disease. So I did this for cancer, because many people when they get cancer, they don't come to know when they until they reach the third stage. Final stage. And moreover, even after recovery, the patient, like they are supposed to go for regular checkups,
monitoring,
which they don't do. They do for a year, and if they don't have any symptoms, they stop going for further. But what happens is, if you get a breast cancer and you go for a treatment, it again pops up somewhere else on the throat or a tongue or somewhere else it comes, and they don't give it care for that, and again the symptom comes only at the end stage. So that is the reason I did this, and this particular biosensor will be able to predict even a single cancer cell erupts in your body.
Okay.
When it senses, I have a microfluidic drug delivery system embedded in the biosensor chip, where when you sense that particular cancer cell erupting in your body, the drug will be diffused to kill the cancer cell.
Okay, that means you went into MEMS level?
See, I have not done the physical
application. Okay.
Yeah, it was a nano hub.
Nano base.
There is a website where I have done the simulation using those sensors and the those things like prostate and ovarian. If it comes, what will happen? So we cannot go for implementation at this stage.
Yes, that is true.
Huge work which has to be done, and I'm very proud to say here that my paper did not have any mimic or what do you call it, a plagiarism at all, because that was the unique idea, and this was the only person who I did. That is the reason I was invited to China to talk about and discuss about this to the medical people, so that they can use the engineering technology or what we have, and then they can combine these two and develop a biosensor. Definitely, my grandchildren will be having the biochip embedded, and that can be used for detecting any disease.
Anything,
It will not be for cancer. You can have it for any disease, right from detecting anything, right from your stem cells, or right from your DNAs, or right from your blood levels or skin levels, or whatever. You can do anything, because it's only the sensor which is going to detect.
That is there.
So that can be automated, because once you embed in your body, it will keep on measuring levels, and when it goes beyond a certain level, certain saturation level, like some safe level, it will immediately address that problem and also give you an intimation that this has happened. That is what is my work. It will also send you a signal, something like how the pacemakers work, like when you put inside your body.
On demand.
That automation to that level, that too trying in a human body, it takes time. But
yeah. That is there.
So nice.
Long years back in the work pannirukapla. Very good.
Are you satisfied, Prabha? Okay.
So Prabhakar, anything else?
Lama, I'm
As she said, we are having a mini get together and a reunion.
Yeah. We should have a separate call.
Yeah, we will do it.
All.
Call, but this is really energizing. Really energizing.
Yes,
I'm very
yes.
very happy, extremely happy
Yep. Yep.
to have this particular FDP with our.
Yeah, yeah.
And, lot of appreciations have come from our batchmates and also our Anamlians. A lot of people have been messaging me. Maybe they are seeing in the YouTubes and all. They were all appreciating the power of women, which has been exhibited to this women. Really nice, really
Yep.
nice.
Yep. Definitely true.
And tomorrow we are going to have a session with
Uma.
another big, what to say, encyclopedia.
Yes, yes.
Correct, correct.
Session, don't miss the session.
She has been an encyclopedia from college days. Okay.
Yeah, that's
I moved to electrical engineering. I'm not in the same domain.
Still encyclopedia only. Okay.
I don't know
yeah. In many colleges, instrument
Definitely true.
we are under electrical engineering department only.
Yes.
True, but imagine having studied electronics and instrumentation and learning about switch gears, transformers.
Hey, you are
No.
capable of studying any.
No, wherever
My
you
guide.
are.
My guide.
Bona,
Lala Uma, I can assure you that you probably would have touched a lot of facets, a lot of engineering as well in your own.
definitely. As a teacher, I have performed to my satisfaction.
Oh my God! Tomorrow all of us will
Very
be
good.
like this only.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
No,
Yes.
no, it's not like that. It's not like that.
Oh my God, Uma! Once you start talking technically, we have to sit like that because
Yes. Yes.
you have an awesome knowledge. Really, Prabhakar, you just listen to her.
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Fantastic knowledge.
Looking forward.
Yeah. That's great.
I'll try to do my whatever I have gathered. I'll share. That's
You
all.
don't have to try anything, Uma. You be as yourself.
Yeah.
Don't expect too much and get disappointed. That's all.
No. Nothing like that.
So nice of you all, and
Thanks. Okay.
yeah.
Okay, thank you all, Bona, Prabhakar, Prabha, Uma.
Thank you, Almela.
Thank you very much for your support. Okay.
Oh, anytime.
Thank you to all the participants. Let us not forget the participants. Thank you so much. Without you people, we can't do anything here.
Yeah.
And please do come tomorrow. We have the final day of our FDP and you're going to really have a wonderful session tomorrow. Looking forward to see you all, and you can see the feedback link in your WhatsApp group. So stay blessed, stay safe. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Almela. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Usha.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Bye.